Okay, welcome everyone. Before we even begin to daven here, you have to understand we're standing at one of the most eminent chachamim in the history of the Jewish people, and I don't say that lightly. To read to you what the Chidah writes, somebody asked me how come I keep on quoting the Chidah. The Chidah is the authoritative source on the history of the Gedolei Yisrael. The Chidah wrote a work, Shem HaGedolim. The Chidah in his entry to Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar. We heard of Reb Chaim ben Atar, the Or Chaim HaKadosh. The Or Chaim HaKadosh wrote a sefer, Chefetz Hashem. He went to Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar to get a haskama for the Chefetz Hashem. Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar was the preeminent halachic authority in all of Morocco and in Klal Yisrael. The Chidah says about him that he heard, this is a lashon that the Chidah I don't think uses about anybody else. The Chidah says about Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar, he's soiles nakia, he's the finest flower, meaning in the echelon of Gedolei Yisrael, in the last thousands of years, Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar is the highest echelon of all time great Gedolei Yisrael. The Chidah says about him something we've seen about many Chachmei Morocco, but the Chidah doesn't say it about anybody except Yehuda ben Atar. He says he's Melumad Benisim. Says the Chidah, I heard many wondrous accounts that happened to him while he was alive and after his patira of those who davened here. I could personally tell you, soon after the last time I was here, I could tell you a miraculous account from Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar. Says the Chidah, I heard from the Rabbanan Kadishi of Morocco that he was Ishal Leikim. One time, as we're going to see, the Jewish community was charged an exorbitant sum and they couldn't pay it. They threw Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar into a lion's den and he stood there for a day and a night, and the king came to watch the miraculous feat, how the lion himself was in awe of Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar. And then the Chidah repeats, we heard wonders and we know firsthand while Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar was alive and anyone who davened here after Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar passed away of the miraculous Yeshuas that one was zeicha to. So first it says Kan nignezu atzamayis kadoshais. Here are his holy bones. That's also an unusual expression. Why? Because there was a tradition that at Lachar Misa, his atzamayis had a certain gilgulim. They rolled for Soid Hashem Lireav, but they ultimately ended up over here. He was born in 1655 in Elul. The Matzeva says that when he was born, it lit up, it illuminated the whole world. Heyer la'aretz v'la'adarim. He was great in Torah. Any edict that Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar did not sign in Morocco was considered pasul. On Yom Tif, everyone lined up to kiss his hand. It was such a grueling process because the whole community lined up. They made for him a special pillow for him to rest his hand on during this time. He wrote Minchas Yehuda, he wrote Shir Michdam, he wrote many others that are still in manuscript form. Over here it says Gur Aryeh Yehuda. He passed away in 1733. Why Gur Aryeh Yehuda? Not only because his name was Yehuda, but on one occasion a Rav wrote a tshuva in contradistinction to the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar, and he saw a vision that he was attacked by a lion, and he asked the Chachamim, what's the meaning of this vision? And they said the meaning is, you started up with Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar, who is, his prowess in Torah was like a lion. He was Ragil be'Eliyahu Hanavi. He didn't have Gilui Eliyahu. He was Ragil be'Eliyahu. Even his maidservant was Zoichet to see Eliyahu Hanavi. Okay, these are all things that sometimes you'll hear about other Gedolei Yisrael, but the Chidah writes it about him and only him. Now, we quoted this morning after Shachris the Yavitz of Fez, not to be confused with the Yavitz. The Yavitz of Fez composed a kinna for Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar. Again, this is someone who the Chidah says of all the Gedolei Yisrael in the history, he's soiles nikia. He is the finest and the highest echelon of all Gedolei Yisrael. He lived for 77 years and he was nifter in 1733. The Chidah says there's a tradition that those who swear in his name truthfully, they have great Yeshuas, and those who swear in his name in a false way, they meet a untimely demise. So this is the legacy of Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar, one of the all-time great Gedolei Yisrael. Zechusa Yagen Aleinu. We're going to say Kuf Chaf Aleph. Shilam Alois Esoinai Al Harim Meyahin Yavo Yezri. Okay, I just want to mention Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar is called Rabbi El Kabir. El Kabir means the eminent one, the powerful one. Also, a title of unusual distinction that is given only to Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar. That was the godless of Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar. Okay, just we're going to add, it's interesting, the Nusach of the Shem HaGedolim is on the Kever. The story we brought about the line is on the Kever. Also, it was pointed out, it says, Me'olam lo'inenu mitzibur ki mi'yagir kapav. He didn't take a allotted pour, he wasn't supported from the tzibur. He worked for a living. What did he do? He produced rings. It was like a pella. He produced rings and he supported himself. And this is all the gadlus of Rabbi Yehuda ben Atar. Okay.